everybody. Welcome back. God, we ain't been here, and it seems like a month. Actually, it's almost been a month.
Yep.
Almost. We're back.
And the tech world just ran amok.
Oh, my Lord. There's so much that we could talk about today.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about something. You were literally coming in on, you came in on a subject that is near and dear to my heart. And the word Wix and the word Foursquare, I think it's Foursquare, are two of the most appalling words that you can be used in the web tech world.
Yeah.
And when people call themselves, web guys, now I'm a web developer.
Right.
And you are using Wix or Foursquare or even some of WordPress.
Yeah.
You are not a web developer. You are a form filler.
Right.
And you can go and put modules in. That does not make you a web person.
No, and
ever.
To a degree too. You gotta watch it like the platform that you were just speaking about, Wix, for instance. You're tied to that physical platform,
right?
At least within WordPress. You can put WordPress on any hosting environment, your own and stuff like that,
right?
And have your developer build out from there. And there's a lot of work and stuff that happens in the background, and when it comes to that. But as far as Wix is concerned, a service like that, I mean, you're tied to their platform. And there is a service where you can migrate from it, but it's not going to work the way that it was built.
Okay, so you can't even, as much as we love GoDaddy, even with GoDaddy's website builder, you're on their platform.
Right.
You don't technically own that website.
Exactly.
You're renting space on their server to have a fancy PowerPoint. That's really what it's, fancy PowerPoint.
And that's the thing, whenever you're trying to, if you're in business for yourself and you're trying to build your platform and your ecosystem is built on somebody else's property, then you have nothing. Because at the end of the day, it takes one change in that corporation or that service provider to make their changes, and you get destroyed.
Right.
Okay, take, for instance, Facebook groups. You have all these different kinds of groups out there and stuff, but you're built on Facebook.
Yep.
What's going to happen if they take their model and change it?
Right.
You lose everything. And not only do you lose everything, have you built a backup? Do you have a back end? Have you built like a website that you could move everybody over to if need be, or have some kind of connector service and say, hey, look, when you do this, you're part of this as well.
Yep.
So in case, gosh forbid, something ever happened, you can move over. Same thing with a company like Wix. What if Wix goes out of business?
Right.
Not only are you losing your hosting service, but your whole platform goes down.
Right.
And a lot of your stuff was not going to move over properly.
So one of the things I was talking to this young guy, and he was telling me that he goes, I use, I guess it's Foursquare, right? Foursquare?
I don't know if it's
something like that.
Yeah. Another
I've heard of it. And I said, well, here's the deal. I said, that first of all, you don't own your website. You own a fancy PowerPoint. That's really what it is.
Right.
I said, so when's the last time you backed it up? He goes, well, why would I back it up? I own it. I said, well, because you still need to have your layout saved.
You're right. Exactly.
So I love the fact that iPads and iPhones and Macs will allow you to go take a screenshot that you think is a screenshot, but it's not. It'll actually show you your whole page.
Right.
But then I'll tell people to go into your website and do Control A and copy all your content.
Yeah.
And then put it over on a Word document.
As having
keep that each page has a layout. So now what happens is if you lose that, for you to go and take your content and rebuild your modules on a different platform, it's easier.
I have like for instance, my full website, I'll do backups, incremental backups periodically that captures the whole website, the database, everything, and I just store it away somewhere. Because I've been hacked before. I've had problems, and I don't have them no more because I've put a firewall in place and blocked, the whole world except for the United States from my website. I don't need to advertise to people in Russia or China. So same thing with my I have a hosted program that I use in house, CRM, that controls my billing, check-in, stuff like that. And what I've done is it can be a web app and run in the back end of your website if you want. But that's going to be stored in somebody else's cloud, somebody else's computer. So what I've chosen to do is I've taken that same app, built my own web server in my office, and hosted internally. That way I have full control over my database. I don't have to worry about somebody else getting hacked or anything like that. And then I can do my full, incremental backups. I have control. Something goes down, I can spin up a backup immediately. And what I've done too is I have a hosted VPS that I send a backup of my database to periodically. So in case, gosh forbid, something happens, we have a flood, or something happens, I have a full version of it running in the cloud in a different location as a security measure. And I can just keep running, make a backup, and do it again.
And right now we're in hurricane season.
And
if you're not backed up and you don't have all your stuff backed up, you're going to have problems.
John,
I'm just saying.
John, all the years I've had my business here, not for nothing, but I'd hear, storm's coming, and we got pretty lucky. We were thought that hurricane category 4 was coming, right? So thinking about it now, I'm thinking, let's get our stuff off the ground, get our computers, up high, 3 feet. Wow. Just realizing that ain't crap. That is not. If a storm comes through, you are going to lose your stuff. I don't care. Unless you literally pack up your servers and everything and you run out of town, you are going to lose your equipment. And you might as well be backing up your stuff, because I'll tell you what, even if you have an in-house server like me or any kind of computer equipment that you have data on, you may shut it off today. It might not start back up.
It may not boot tomorrow.
After you bring it back to your business, just to fire back up, because that's usually how it works. You turn off the computer that you haven't turned off in forever. And you take off with it, you come back, you plug it in, and it doesn't turn back on.
It's like, oh crap.
Yeah, and then how long are you going to be down? Is your data lost? Is something gone? Can you operate without that customer base of people that you were supposed to call?
That's correct.
And don't just trust cloud services that stuff's going to be there. You know what I mean? As we found out, Facebook deleting people's photos out of their galleries. Just because, randomly. You can say all you want. Oh, it's my stuff. No, it's not. It's not you're storing on somebody else's stuff. It's their stuff. And you never read the terms of agreement. I guarantee it.
Nobody
and you
does.
Don't, you have a database of all your clients on an app online, and that's how you bill your clients and everything like that. Who owns that database of your customers? What happens if they decide to delete your account before violation of terms of service? How do you get your customers back? Have you been backing up your database of your clients?
Which you can do.
And they can hold you for ransom. I mean, it happens. But anyways,
so we were up in Georgia. This is going to be, you'll like this. We were up in Georgia, and I had where the house we were staying has ADT, right? So I just continued the service with ADT, and we were in there talking, and the guy goes, "You look really familiar," and I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Where do I know you from?" I said, "Don't know. Don't live up here, not yet." And he goes, "Nope, I know you from somewhere." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "I know where I know you from."
Uh-oh.
He goes, I've seen you on on the internet. I'm like, oh boy.
Well, that's good though.
He goes, you have a show called Tech Shamans. I'm like, I do. He goes, and you guys were talking about, and he remembered this one, Z-Wave.
Oh yes.
Okay. So the ADT system that's in the house allows me to put Z-Wave modules. So I can turn things on and off and whole 9 yards. And he goes, you should do that in this house. I'm like, Okay, so he would walk me through all this, how to add it. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, so he showed you how to add it on ADT?
Oh yeah, well, it's right
dude,
there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you go, add product or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and he goes, and you can choose Z-Wave.
And you know, the nice thing about the Z-Wave is the fact that when you do add those devices, all right, first off, it's not using your Wi-Fi in the house. So your Wi-Fi can go down, your devices will stay connected. And number two, you don't have to worry about it, the connection. Because when you create, like say for instance, I like the GE, I forgot, another company bought out, but GE makes the Z-Wave receptacles. And they replace the light switches, just like a regular toggle light switch.
Yeah, a toggle one.
And that's what I buy. I like those ones.
Right.
They've lasted for years, and I'll stick them in there. And once you can, it almost instantaneously finds it, and never have a communication issue. And then I turn around and take that toggle, and the next one you put on, it'll automatically mesh with. So it starts daisy chaining. So you can be 100 feet from the unit, the main unit, your head unit, and not have a problem with connectivity, because each of these are broadcasting their little Z-Wave miniature Bluetooth. It's a low power Bluetooth. And the Z-Waves, like if you have door locks and stuff that are Z-Wave, you can, if you go out and you buy a quick set, they have the touchpad one. That one, they give you two options. They have a Z-Wave option and a Wi-Fi option. Difference? Z-Wave lasts 100% longer than the Wi-Fi one, because it's very low power, doesn't draw a lot of energy, and it just works. That's the great thing. It just works.
That's what the kid said. He goes, I said, well, I was going to put in Wi-Fi cameras and all this stuff. He goes, no, he goes, just like your guy said, Z-Wave is the better way to go. I'm like, okay, so now I've got to figure out how to build a system up there and put all Z-Wave in.
The nice thing is you can put the Z-Wave and connect it to that main box if you like. But they also, Samsung makes Samsung Smart Things hub. You got two options. If you buy a brand new Samsung TV, it has the hub feature built into it.
Oh, yeah.
Anatech makes the new hubs for Samsung. Samsung used to create their own physical hub. It was just a small little hub.
Right.
It would hardwire into your internet, and that's all you did. And then you use the Smart Things app, and then you can connect everything that way. And then you can connect the Smart Things app to your Alexa by using, they have a little protocol API that connects it. And then you connect it, and then Alexa then finds every Z-Wave item in your house. And then you've got full voice control over everything.
We got to talk about that. So
fun stuff.
So we're gonna jump into something here. Normally we ask if we tech or don't tech, but I've done so much teching and so much.
We have to tech.
U.S. judge blocks Biden's officials from contacting social media sites, which I thought this was. When you first put this in, I'm like, this is old news. I don't know why we're talking about it, but it's not.
It's just
they're trying to get in there, and they're trying to slow down once again the conservative voice on social media platforms.
Yeah, they just need to leave. I think the federal government needs to stay out of the tech world.
The DOD already gotten. Is it DOD? Yeah, DOD got in trouble for FBI and DOD.
Yeah,
got in trouble for suppressing information from the social media sites already from the last election, which is, you figured they wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, but see, the thing that's going to be difficult in this circumstance is it's going to be very easy for the federal government to go ahead and put in that, for national security. We're constantly being targeted, especially our infrastructure, with bad actors from overseas trying to get into water systems, nuclear systems, things like that. It's very easy for the Homeland Security, for instance, to go ahead and initiate some kind of protocol where they just say, hey, look, our IT is not where it needs to be, and we need to put in emergency protocols in place to protect our defense systems and our interests. And you can see how they're reaching out to social media companies, but once they initiate something that's going to be like in that kind of aspect, forget about it. What they just denied him is going to be irrelevant because you're going to see the government get their hands into everything.
Well, and that's why I literally told one of the representatives for Bill Rackus I'm like, I want to sit and talk with you because this whole, when they were trying to ban TikTok and blah, 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 and it wasn't even about TikTok. They used TikTok as the
scapegoat, I would say.
Well, they were using it as the name. It's like, tissues, we call them Kleenex, right? But they're not Kleenex. Kleenex is a brand. They're just tissues. So they're using TikTok as the social media platform that, but it's nearly if that law ever, I don't think it'll ever happen, but if they pass that law, you will be so policed on what you say, what you do. That you're right. This doesn't just because a judge blocked it doesn't mean crap. Because now they'll be able to suppress, they'll be able to manipulate.
I personally, I think
it's going to be horrible.
All government. I don't think social media and what it is. Certain things should not be discussed on it. Okay, just leave it off the table. All right. If you want to, create your own site and put your agenda out there or campaign yourself, then. More power to you. You want to campaign in newspapers, things like that? Let's just go back to the way it should be in the old school.
Absolutely.
Because when you have social media and you start, it's like it's no different than having a group of people in one room fighting it out about politics, about anything that has to do with am I right or you're right?
Right.
Just leave it out of there, and everybody would be. None the wiser.
Yep. Exactly.
Look, it's easy. Cannot advertise politics. Heck, I can't even advertise that I do computer repairs on Google because they think that I am from overseas and I'm running a tech support scam.
God.
But John, did you know that a couple of years ago that when Google joined forces with Ubreak iFix, which is now Asurion, that was when third-party tech support companies, such as I, were banned from advertising on Google.
That's nuts.
And it took a while, everybody, and it was just recently. Another company, another third-party tech repair company, had talked about it. Louis Rossman, from a very good technician, very awesome, especially for Apple products.
Right.
And he's also in parts of with the Right to Repair Act. He really advocates for it. But he made mention. I'm like, you know what? He's right. And Google made that deal with them because Google Pixel,
right?
They're the premier company that does the repairs for Google Pixel. And that was the same time third-party tech repair companies were removed and not allowed to advertise their services on Google's platform.
So Google's not even an open platform anymore.
No, and which means that Google's obviously favoritism, that whole 9 yards, and trying to block that stuff. So I'm hearing Google's in some hot water on it because they finally figured out why that happened. And Google's using the excuse that no, it's to try to limit people from being scammed, from these tech support scams. Bullshit. That's bullcrap because they know I have a retail store. They know I have a physical pointy store that shows that I have retail products in the store.
Right.
That's just no. You're just pulling for something and it's not working.
Yeah. Grasping for straws, baby.
Grasping for straws.
But yeah, it's just really kind of funny that we've even had this story even popped up about. I'm like, you're doing exactly what you got busted for before. And now you're going to go after it again.
Yeah, just leave it alone. Hey, tell them. You know what? You want to be fair about the whole situation. Just tell tech companies, hey, don't advertise my campaign or theirs. Keep it off the table. Let's be fair. Let's keep it all fair. Easy peasy. Once you do that, and they have the technology to figure that out. So I don't care.
So I like this next one. We're talking about LiDAR.
LiDAR.
So they're just trying to make things smaller, faster, stronger,
and cheaper.
and cheaper.
Yes. And this is a big issue. Last time we spoke about Elon Musk removing radar
Yes,
from his cars.
that's correct.
And they're not as, just trying to use just cameras to determine where a vehicle is, what to drive, what to do. And the biggest issue with that is, cameras can get, light and
Jack 'em up.
infrared.
Yep.
Infrared light can jack them up.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't be able to see. They're nowhere near as precise as radar. So LiDAR technology, which sends like thousands of different dots out and maps in 3D what's happening around, and then picks that signal back.
Right.
It's not going to be have as much kind of interference from other
Right.
light sources and other.
Well, and that's
devices.
why they're using it in drones now.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
I mean, I don't mean big drones. I mean small drones.
Right.
You can actually get a DJI, was it a Mavic? Not even a Mavic. You can go with the Mavic Minis, and they have a LiDAR feature.
Well, this is big because this development.
Well, it's on our phones.
Well, yeah.
There's a little button right back here, right down the bottom, right there. That's LiDAR. So your phone has the ability for LiDAR as
and
well.
with this new technology, this new LiDAR is going to be able to. It has no moving parts. This
So
is going
it's
to be a solid,
chip-based.
solid state LiDAR technology. Obviously, something like that with no moving parts, less frequent failures. Not having to fine tune the LiDAR, because they do, if you have to remove the sensor and put it back in, that would have to be precision set back up.
Oh, and it's a pain in the rear end too.
Oh yeah. And then with
If
this
the drone, like the older LiDAR on drones, if the drone goes down, it's a complete.
oh yeah.
It's a cluster. You gotta. There's so much that has to be fixed. This will be actually, and it'll make LiDAR for our smaller drones more affordable. Because right now, to get a big LiDAR system on your drone, on a drone that's big enough to carry it,
Right.
you tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's just this is going to be great. This will be great because this will give us better mapping of 3D spaces. This will give more, like for instance, your Quest 3D.
It'll read your
device
room
headset.
better.
Yeah, definitely read your room better instead of using cameras.
Right.
Because cameras can really they can only see in certain depths, anyways.
Right.
This thing is going to be able to see in 3D. And
It's
and
in real
map everything.
space.
Real space.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that means better layout, better polygons laying across different items like couches, things like that. So
It's
gonna
actually
be interesting.
very exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I have to say, but I'm looking at it from a perspective of someone that uses LiDAR, in drone world and in our phones, because I can take. I know this is going to sound dumb, but when we go out to do Bigfoot research, which we do, and if we find a footprint, now I can take a picture of it and I can go into LiDAR, and LiDAR, instead of me having to make a cast of it right there,
Right.
I can take a shot with LiDAR, come back in, and then have it 3D printed. So it literally shows me the fine detail. I can
Yeah.
clean it up too, which is kind of nice.
See. Yeah,
Sometimes you go out there and you put a cast a mold, and you get more than what you want, and it's very undefined.
Couple
But you can go
twigs.
into LiDAR and right. Well, someone dropped a
Grass.
Snickers wrapper there.
Dang it.
But you can actually go in there and make it in 3D print it, which is really
Right.
good. You can see it in real space too. I can put it into software and turn that software, and I can look
Oh,
at a 3D
exactly,
model.
exactly.
That's killer. So to me, it's really it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
very
going to be
very
a good thing.
Right.
Especially with those new Apple Pro headsets. You can probably safely say that LiDAR technology
Yep.
that's on there, it's probably pretty expensive right off the bat. That's probably one of the price drivers that are driving the huge cost on that
I
thing.
forgot to mute my phone. I'm bad. I'm
thank
bad.
goodness
I'm
John's
a
phone-
bad person.
Thank goodness nobody called John.
Right.
Don't call John.
Well, wait a
John's
minute.
busy.
I got people calling me.
Oh,
That's weird.
jeez.
But it's gonna make I sometimes I'm to the point where it's like, well, how small is small? how do we need it to get all that? But I guess we kind of really do. I'm trying to be non-evasive here. There we go. But if your phone can do LiDAR,
right,
and it's pretty powerful don't get me wrong, it's not the most powerful thing in the world.
No.
And there is some kind of issues
for mobile technology, or for instance, on a vehicle would be really awesome.
I think that's the best place for it.
Yeah.
If you truly are going to get into you're going to get into self-driving, it's got a big deal. You got to make it safe. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Especially if it can map its surroundings.
Right.
Then if that car can map its surroundings and hey, break up
in real time.
In real time, yeah.
I mean, so there's not a ton of. It's not like you're going to have this massive amount of lag, right? So and especially if you're trying to use it in the real time, that really is kind of a big deal.
Oh, it is. I mean, if you ever watch the software trying to map on a camera,
right?
And it's say for instance, it's trying to grab a person in its view and it's trying to track it, how quickly it'll bounce back and track something else and it doesn't know,
right?
Because it can't determine shadows, goes into the dark, things like that. It loses the person if the lighting and the coloring's not right.
And with AI coming abroad, with AI being a thing, it'll be predictive.
Oh, exactly.
So, I mean, it's like, and this is what a lot of people don't, and I don't know, maybe people know this, maybe they don't know it. But so remember in the early years of GPS?
Yes.
Holy crap, it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, by the time you had a turn, you passed your turn.
Yeah.
So what's happened in the last 2 years is, it's like I said, AI is nothing new. AI's been around. We just, it's finally been okayed for the general public.
Right.
That's the way all technology is. Technology doesn't show up to the public until the government's used it, and to the point where they kind of got it down pat. Mm-hmm. So predictive AI has always been used in the last 2 or 3 years in your GPS. Mm-hmm. Because it's because you got to know that turn.
Yeah, I mean the
quicker than, oh, by the way, you were supposed to turn right back there.
Yeah, like the Siri or any other device that's doing it for you. It knows it's mapped out before the GPS even figures out. So it knows your turns. It knows when you should be there. I mean, it even tracks traffic. And you know what? It's funny. It's like, you always wonder, how does it know that there's an accident right ahead?
Right.
And how does it know that traffic is slowing down right here when that's because everybody's running their Siri. Obviously, the devices are all
everything
syncing.
has gone back to the GPS. Actually, your phone's being tracked through Google Maps, Safari Maps, the whole 9 yards. And then the AI goes in there and goes, oh, by the way, these amount of cars have slowed down. Oh, they've come to a stop. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, by the way, there's a traffic jam up above, or there's a wreck, or and there are people that, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm driving, and I try not to interact with my phone that much, but every now and then when I'm driving, it'll ask me, is the wreck still there? And I'll click yes. Yeah. Or I'll report a problem.
Or there'll be like no wreck there to begin with. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a wreck still there? No.
I
don't think there ever was one.
I think sometimes people just do it just to do it.
I really do think
some things I really think they do on purpose, just to antagonize people.
It's kind of funny that we're on the AI subject right now.
Yeah.
So AI and you, right? This is coming from CNET. ChatGPT's Novelty may be wearing off. No programmers in 5 years. So I don't think we will ever get away with not needing programmers. I think there will always need people there to double check.
Yeah, and not just that. They're always going to be, there's going to be something bigger and better later on. AI is going to be just in the background. Right. I think that what they're talking about is like the novelty of it right now.
Well, like in June, like we have two articles, one marked back at the other, and I'm kind of glad. In June, it drops significantly. I mean, to a point where everybody's like, "What's going on?"
I know what's going on. Now there's AI that can detect AI. That's, knows when you're screwing
Right,
up.
yeah.
So, and a lot of people that would have used it for, writing their resumes, essays, things like that.
Yep.
And they'll be like, this was 99.9% written by AI. So, you upload your resume
Yep.
to ZipRecruiter or something. And then, then they got a tool, just warning you, but this looks like it was written by a bot.
That's funny you say that, because I did a synopsis one time, and you fired back, "Oh, you wrote this in AI," and I did. I put it in ChatGPT to write the synopsis for the show, just to see what it would give me, and it came out with, I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you got to be, I think everybody's
you're using it for something that you've created, that, and you're just trying to get the synopsis of the story and what you're going to be speaking about.
Yep.
But most people, for the most part, they're trying to code with it. They're trying to write their own software. They're trying to, a majority of them.
You can literally have I did this the other day. I asked ChatGPT to write me code for a website. And I gave it the example of area52tv.com. And it came back code null.
Wow.
And it was written in HTML5. And it did everything. I put it up as a test, just to kind of see.
Yeah, let's open up the site and play with it.
Oh my God, dude. I had a beta site running, and it actually functioned almost as good, if not a little bit better than what I've got. But the problem is I don't own it.
Right. Because
that's what people don't get that. Well, you can use ChatGPT all you want. Good for you, but you don't own it.
Right.
That copyright's not yours. That copyright belongs to OpenAI or ChatGPT, whoever you use, whatever platform you use to get that code. That they own that now.
And it's very easy for them to scan the web.
That is correct.
And find that information and compare it against what they have on file and what people have asked and what the ChatGPT had generated for somebody. That's why you have to log in. And that's why it logs everything that you're doing.
Everything. Not just a little. It knows exactly. That's why a lot of the artists do not like the AI that does all the imagery, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're stealing our blah 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 and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, but you can't go and make money off of that. You can't generate AI you can't generate AI images and then go sell it as your own. You can't, because you don't own copyright.
Right, exactly.
And matter of fact, once that image is manipulated enough where AI, if they go past 33%, guess what? They own all of it. And you can't go. I think eventually people are going to be they're going to be sent bills going, oh, by the way, this is what you owe us for us making this, now that you're selling it and making money off of it. We use it because I think it's cool. We're going to use it. Matter of fact, I have an editor that's working on a new intro that we have to take out all the old stuff and put the new stuff in there. And we all use AI because it's kind of cool looking. It's neat.
It's funny. It's like, how quickly it's dying off. It's just as quick as NFTs.
NFTs went away too.
The $10,000, little house, picture of a little house. Hey, I got a deal for you,
Boy.
Yeah, that's when everybody had money coming out there, what's, because Bitcoin was making money. Once all that went away, all these, young kids are like, oh, I have to go out and get a job. Now they're getting mad because, DoorDash people are not tipping them.
Right.
$5 for a $20 pizza. Dude, you got 25% tip.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Of course, $5. She ordered one pizza. What do you want her to do? Give you another 20 because she spent 20?
Okay, so I know this is not a political show, and when we're going to go on to more concerning stuff like Mark Zuckerberg trolls Elon Musk. We'll come back to that. But have you I've noticed that
yes.
When you go into restaurants and stuff like that, they're wanting you to tip 30, 40, 50%. And I'm like, that's not happening.
The tips are going from the minimums, like 18 and up, 18, 20%. And then not just that, but you go to a damn convenience store. I'm going to leave a tip. No, I don't want to leave a tip. What the person do?
I went and walked. I walked your store, got my own shit, and now you want me to tip you for pushing some buttons or hitting a scanner? No, thank you.
And
buddy.
not for nothing, John. But they were talking about it. Is retail establishments are trying to do this to give the employees an incentive. Look, we don't just pay you X amount of dollars. You can earn tips too if you do a really good job. It's not, the mentality of the consumer is not going to be, I went to Walmart and I need to tip, I
want to tip
cashier.
for scanning my own shit out.
The whole
Just
point,
saying, dude.
And the whole point in the tipping culture at the beginning was people who were in the restaurant business made $2.50 an hour. They made $2.50 an hour,
Yep.
and they made tips to get them to the level of regular pay and above.
Yep.
And that's what it was supposed to be.
Correct.
And that's how the restaurants would be able to stay open and do what they're supposed to do. Now they're trying to, we want minimum wage and you want tips too, I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
And to get snotty because you didn't get tipped enough, you chose the field, you chose the job, you know what you get paid. If the person didn't tip you properly, leave it alone and go get a real job.
There's probably a reason you didn't get a big tip.
Yeah.
Growing up, going through college, stuff like that. So I worked as a waiter and I've worked as a bartender. The minute I would go somewhere and I've had restaurants go, well, you know what? Hey, we're just going to pay you a normal wage and that way you don't have to worry about tips. I'm like, I want tips. No. I want tips because I know I bring good service. Dude, there's never one time that I ever work as a waiter or a bartender and I not leave there with $200-$300.
Look, not for nothing that bothers me the most is like when you order off, like say DoorDash or anything like that, or any kind of service that's delivering something to you. Why are you trying to charge me a percentage of my bill when the person does the exact same thing?
Yep.
Look, if I order $20 worth of pizza and I give you $5 because you're only 1 mile down the road, or I order $100 worth of pizza stuff and you bring it to me, that delivery is still worth $5 because most of the time it's not even that much stuff that he's carrying. And he's not doing any more work than just grabbing the stuff and leaving.
Right.
So why are you trying to charge a percentage?
Yeah.
Now that doesn't make sense.
No.
And the same thing for grocery deliveries, things like that. Yeah. The person's just a delivery driver. They grab it and they go.
They're going to spit in all of our food. You know that, right? I'm never ordering DoorDash or Uber again.
That's it. I don't order it anymore, so it's okay. Yeah. Go ahead and do what you want. It is annoying.
It is annoying. It is. Just because I ordered $150 worth of food doesn't mean you're going to get 15% or 20% of that. You're just not gonna.
Right. Now at a restaurant, when you're ordering a lot of food, that person's got to walk back and forth, do stuff. They got to bring drinks.
They're waiting on me.
Yeah.
Waiting on me.
Waiting on you, hand and
hey, you
foot.
Want some more? You want some more drink?
Could I get some more cheese with that? That person's running back and forth from the kitchen. That I don't like the way this was cooked. I need you to go take it back and they
need to do a flat fee driver fee.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No tip. No, just flat fee.
Oh, but then these companies wouldn't be able to make money because they charge their fee, and then they charge the tip, and they give the tip to the driver. But
no, they don't. They don't. The drivers don't get any of that.
Oh, they're supposed to get the tip, supposedly. Well, we'll see.
Well, they get a tip, but there's a driver fee, and then there's a processing fee. Have you ever noticed that when you order something for $20, it winds up being $35?
Yeah.
When all said and done.
Yeah. And the worst thing is they also raise the price of the food that's being delivered.
Yes, they do.
So they're making money. That's why when there's a problem with the food, they have no problem giving you a refund instantly because they know they've already ripped you off.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, let's go back. So I guess Mark Zuckerberg and Musk are really kind of going at it.
Yeah.
And I love these little I've been watching on the Twitter, these just one words. And it's just they hit each other. They hit each other. Now, I don't know if they're really serious.
About going to the cage fight?
Oh, I would love to see that. I think I don't know. I saw Zuckerberg's been working out, man. He's actually started to get a little bit of tone to him.
His lizard skin falls off.
That would be so funny. I would love it. But here's the thing: one man enters, two man enters, only one man can leave.
Yes.
And whoever leaves gets the other guy's company.
Oh,
don't messing around here. If you're gonna do it, do it.
Was that?
No, this is John's version. Cage match. If you're gonna do this right.
I get Twitter and you get Threads.
It is what it is, right?
That's crazy.
So if Musk leaves the ring and Zuckerberg's dead, Musk gets all of Meta.
And it's funny because Elon's pretty pissed off about the whole situation, which it's understandable. It's like, needless to say, at the end of the day, it's like, you're trying to clone what I do already, but it's like.
So, okay, which came first, Twitter or Facebook?
I think it was Facebook. Facebook, yeah.
Okay, so Twitter, not Musk, but Twitter itself was a copy of Facebook. They just dumbed it down.
It needed to be dumbed down.
It did. So Facebook was a thing where you could do rant posts and blah 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 and images. Twitter was in the original. You could put a picture up.
Yeah, Twitter. Right? Twitter was only how many words? 20 words at the time when it was first.
89 characters or something like that.
Yeah, it was
109. Well, it doesn't matter. So what Twitter did is went, okay, well, we like Facebook, but no rants. Keep it simple. Make it fast. Because really, that's all it was for, and then back in the day, your links was considered your characters.
Yeah.
Now it's a link. You can put a link in there, and it's considered one character, right? So all Twitter did was just go, okay, they ripped Facebook off and just doing a shorter version. Now all of a sudden, it's gone the other way. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like.
Nah.
Neither one of you are original.
Elon's
you all ripped off MySpace. Every damn morning. Tom should be beside himself.
I saw Tom popped up on Threads.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Look at you guys trying to be me.
He popped up. He's like, my son came to me. He's like, hey, look, MySpace Tom's on Threads. It was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
So ultimately, everybody needs to thank Tom for what he did, because Tom was the dude, man.
Yeah, he was. And he still runs that same profile picture, too.
He does. That is so hilarious. So if you weren't friends with Tom didn't like you when you were MySpace.
Yeah, you know what? It's like Elon's probably like, yeah, I think I was just resentful of them kicking him while he's down.
Right.
While he's trying to figure out his platform, It's like, come on, dudes, stop.
And then you got the Trumps doing Truth Social.
That's
and everybody's ripping everybody off. And again, they all need to go back and shake Tom's hand, because Tom started it all.
Yep,
he really did. MySpace was the original everything, and that's just like iTunes was the original everything.
Yeah,
because YouTube didn't exist, Facebook didn't exist, Twitter didn't exist, Vimeo didn't exist. None of that existed. iTunes was it. Yeah. iTunes, like we were one of the first 1,000 podcasts on iTunes. That's how long I've been doing this.
Yeah, Apple really had something when they came out with iTunes.
And do you know why podcast is called a podcast?
Why?
Why it's named podcasting?
Why is it called podcasting?
Podcasting, because it was originally an iTunes format, and they were made to download to your iPod. That's why they're called podcasts. Dang. That's it. And we've never, once again, we were using a generic term for a product that can be an audio or video. And in the beginning, podcast or video, so not audio. I mean, they were audio, but they were originally, it was video, right? And then iTunes or Apple said, "Screw this, we don't want your video because it takes too much room on our servers, right? So give us audio only. We'll keep your video, but you got to put it somewhere else and host it, right?" So that's when CDNs became a thing.
Apple always waits until the technology is just right to be able to make sure the product is perfect.
Yep.
And that's why everybody's, oh, that's just incremental changes, because the hardware is not there yet.
Right.
They have ideas light years beyond that you would have thought, but the technology is just not there, or they can't make it small enough.
Right.
That's why, like, say, for instance, they try to make their own modems because they're having problems with Broadcom, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to make our own. Same thing with pretty much everything on the phone. They're getting to the point where they're about to be able to make everything.
Well, okay,
in-house.
so back in the day when you had a cell phone, guess who made a lot of the guts? Qualcomm.
Yep. It was all
Qualcomm. So, and then Qualcomm they went crazy. They went into email servers, and they got into hosting servers, and then they got into all the other crap. And it's like, then they became so big, and then they became so expensive that everybody's like, nope. And then what happened is iPhone and Androids and Motorola, they all said, we'll just develop our own stuff now. Yeah. It's just easier. And they couldn't, and Qualcomm wasn't able to produce fast enough.
Exactly.
And they were like literally the chink in the armor at that point in time, because it was like slowing everybody's production down. So
and then that's the same thing with other companies, slowing down Apple, for instance, when they're trying to release something.
Right. Well, and then all of a sudden it's a hostage situation.
Exactly. Especially if you're your competitor and you're trying to release a phone before Apple.
So I'm going to jump down to one right now, because this is something I kind of know a little bit about. So OceanGate suspends all exploration and commercial operations.
Well, that's a given.
Worldwide. Well, see, sometimes they don't, though. Sometimes these companies will just go, oh, that was an accident, blah, blah, blah.
They didn't tell you they only built the one sub?
Yeah. They have a few more.
Oh, dang it.
But they
weren't built the same way with duct
that
tape.
is a see this was never ever about a search and rescue.
No, they
from the get-go.
Yeah,
this was a recovery only.
Yeah.
Because when they heard that first initial boom, it was done.
Yeah.
It was over. They were all dead. They died instantly. If that makes anybody see, that's what there was no suffering on that one.
Yeah.
Because when you're at that depth, so I used to dive, and I was a hard hat. I was actually a hard suit diver. I was an E1, and when you're in those suits, once you pass 1,000 feet, right, that a hole in your helmet, a hole in your suit, and your whole body is squished up into your helmet. It is what it is. And I used to work at 2,200 feet. I was qualified for 2,200 feet. I was trimix, helium, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So it was one of those things where we made a shitload of money, but we knew that we could die instantly. So at the depth that they are at, especially Titanic depth, when those things go, it's instant. You don't feel anything. Matter of fact, you don't even have time to say, oh shit, because you're done. So they died quickly. Yeah, they're gooed all over the place, but it's instantaneous. Yeah. So it's like, I was talking to somebody else, and he was another diver. I said, well, at least they went quick. It wasn't one of those things where they suffocated and
right, exactly.
And it was a prolonged agony. It was just
right, exactly. Because the worst case scenario would have been oxygen leaked out, and they had the oxygen system failed, and they just sat in there and suffocated.
Yeah, the scrubbers couldn't keep up, or it just electronics failed instantly. But when I read the article and they said that they heard the boom or the thud, that was an implosion. Right. And they were just done. So they can go recover it all the one. That's fish food now, unfortunately. So I know, too soon. Sorry. Just being honest. I mean, it's just because it's a world that I know. And then I'm going to jump over to, I put these in the last minute. Amazon CEO, Andy Jassy, they're making their own AI chips now.
Well,
and it's, Amazon's doing like Apple did back in the day. They're just going to start creating their own guts.
Yeah, I mean, they have the devices. They have a huge device architecture everywhere.
Yeah.
With their tablets, all their home device to show
they're
us
making
all the echoes.
now they're not making their TVs, but they're putting their like Amazon TVs, Amazon Fire Sticks, Amazon Echoes, all that stuff. I think they've gotten to a point where they're tired of relying again, just like Apple. That's why Apple's moved away from Intel.
Yeah.
Right, because wow, what happens? The pandemic hits. Guess what? You can't get chips for your crap.
Right.
Exactly. The world got stopped because nobody had new products. So if Apple Apple started going, well, we'll just go back to making our. I'm telling you, the biggest mistake they ever did was going to Intel.
You know what it was? It was one of the big issues when they first announced it. Is back in the day, the Intel problem had to do with a coding problem in the chip. Intel had coding problems and basically a glitch on their new chips getting ready to release. And how are you supposed to say for instance, you've just planned that you're building 10 billion laptops or Macs and stuff like that. You've already built the PCB, and all you're waiting on is the chip. And the company that supplies your chip says, we goofed up. We have to redesign or reprogram.
Holy crap.
What would happen if Intel suddenly said, we have to add one more pin to our chip to correct the issue?
Right.
All those PCB boards would be useless.
Right.
They couldn't solder that chip on now.
Nope.
So now what do?
Yep.
So if you in-house build it, in-house test it, know what you have, and can build around it, your supply line, everything can just run so smooth.
Yep. Well, that's just like I said. In the beginning, it was just the biggest. And I'll stick to my guns on this because it was the most frustrating thing. Is they should have never gone to Intel. They should have just kept making their own stuff. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Now they're right back to where they were when they were great. Because I'm telling you, when they went to Intel, I don't care what they did. It was crap. It was just crap.
And ran hot.
Yeah, it was, and I have two versions of the first aluminum cases that came out for the Mac. The first one, matter of fact, I had the first aluminum case sold in Tampa Bay. Yeah. I have it. I still have it. I won't get rid of it.
And the GPU CPU combos on those, they ran so hot that the chipsets were failing.
So the Intel, it got to a point where I could put the Power Mac aluminum and the Intel Mac aluminum together, and my Power Mac would run way better than my. Yeah. And I have one of the original laptops that was aluminum case, still a Power Mac, and I had one of the first Intel laptops, and that was the one that ran hot and shut itself off all the time. But my Power Mac, even though it was, it didn't work as fast anymore because you couldn't get updates. Right. I was running old software. Still outperformed the Intel.
Exactly.
So that was again big mistake. But now Amazon's like, well, we'll just start making our own stuff.
Yeah, and
it'll just be easier.
It makes sense. It's going to be easier. They're not going to have supply issues.
Well, unless the world gets, because we we have another pandemic coming.
I think we will always have a pandemic.
They've already talked about it.
What's this name?
It's leaking. It's leaking. It's going to be another COVID.
Oh.
But they won't call it COVID this time. But they have a name for it already. And I I'm a Mr. Conspiracy guy. I watched it, and they literally have already named it in the whole 9 yards. Now, maybe because it's been leaked and everybody's heard about it, and you sometimes conspiracy theories can help you, because if it gets out into the general public enough, then guess what? They won't do.
Yeah.
They won't let it happen.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, it's kind of gotten out there. And if we do it now, then all the conspiracy nuts are going to be right and blah, blah, blah. And we don't want them to be right. We always want them to be wrong or seem like, but, in the last 2 years, it's kind of amazing that all the theories that everybody's has been going around
all these years
are coming true. We're like, maybe the conspiracy guys were right, because a lot of them are hitting true. So
it's like, oh, you mean there is aliens,
right? So
well, we're not going to deny or
Oh, absolutely not. So, but yeah, so that's what's been going on in tech world. I mean, there's way more. I'm just trying to get everybody semi caught up, I guess, in a way. You know, I don't.
Well, did you read about the little soft-bodied robots that MIT made?
Oh, good Lord! Did you see the test?
No, I did not see the test, and I really wish I did see the test. But I could understand how they could make these little robots that could just walk.
They do their little gyrations and
just using magnets.
Just magnets.
Magnets. Yeah, that's pretty. That's going to be pretty interesting because pretty soon you'll have these like little rotor-rooter robots.
Right.
Just inject them into your veins. They'll go around cleaning everything up.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine? Just tick, 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 tick.
Well,
I can feel him.
I can feel him in my arm. Get him out. Get him out. Just when they get somewhere else, I was like, "Whoa, hey there, that's a little private." I'm just saying.
Yeah. So they have a little rubber body in soft, delicate environments. They suggest technology could be adapted for biomedical applications.
Look, I can like, so if I have a heart problem, and they go in and clean up my arteries, okay, I'm good with that as long as you get it out.
As long as the doctor drives it proper.
Right. Drunk driving. Oop, sorry, wrong aorta.
Stuck in a valve.
Wrong valve. Damn it, Bobby.
Get him out, John. Help.
So, so we will be here. I won't be on next week. You'll be on. Hopefully, we'll have I think we may have another tech shaman or another shaman come on. If not, then Adam can just carry it by himself because he's smart enough. Maybe you can bring on one of your kids, your smart ones. Yeah. But anyway, so thanks for watching, everybody, today. We appreciate it. If you have anything you want us to talk about, or I love it when I meet people out and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, I've actually watched you for a while." And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Creepy, but cool.
Yeah.
We want everybody watching, but then you think about it like, oh my God.
Like somebody saw me on the TV or on the internet.
Jesus. Yeah, anyway, so you can email us, text us, or go watch us. We'll see everybody next week on the Tech Shamans Show. Everybody have a great week.
Yeah.